I don't know. Antonio Bigfoot Silva and Stefan Struve as the co-main. I never thought I'd see this fight.
No, and as long as we're talking about these, why don't we go ahead and give our predictions, give some odds, get a little more in-depth about this. Let's break it down. Let's start with that main fight, the very first fight that we already talked about, Overeem and Arlovski. Teammates, now rivals, and very closely matched. There's a little bit of an edge here for Overeem. He's minus 225. Arlovski is plus 185.
That's about right, put it.
So you like that one? You agree with that one? You favor Overeem in the fight?
I would.
Yeah, I think Arlovski's chin is just a little bit suspect, so I think they're making a good call with Overeem there. And then for the second fight, we've got Stefan Struve at minus 200 and Bigfoot Silva at plus 170. Now, normally, I would have said anybody facing Stefan Struve at this point, Stefan Struve is going to lose. He has not been doing well. It kind of seems like he's done as a fighter, except he's going up against a guy who is potentially even more done than he is because Bigfoot Silva no longer gets his testosterone therapy exemption, and we've seen he's a completely different fighter without it. So even though Stefan Struve has not been doing well, he's probably still going to do better than Bigfoot Silva at his present state. But I'm just going to go ahead and say it right now. The loser of this fight should retire.
Yeah, for various reasons, but I agree with you. I hate saying loser leaves town, but, I mean, these two guys...
Yeah, you can't really get a more clear-cut case of it than this.
Yeah, no, I think Struve wins this one, but I'd be just as happy if Silva won.
Let's just look at the facts here. In his last 4 fights, Stefan Struve 1-3. In Bigfoot Silva's last 4 fights, he's also 1-3. There's nobody doing anything good right now among the two of them. They're both pretty much past their prime.
Yeah, no, I mean, Struve, we thought was done at one point because of a heart condition.
Right, and he hasn't looked really any good since he came back from that. And I gotta say again, the same thing for Bigfoot Silva. The only fight he's won out of his last 4 was Soa the Hulk Palele when he had basically the hometown advantage of fighting in Rio de Janeiro. But in every other fight he's had, he's been creamed. He got destroyed by, ironically enough, Arlovski, at a point where we thought Arlovski was past his prime, and he kind of started his run with beating Antonio Bigfoot Silva. That was like the launching point for him in his second UFC run. And then he beat Frank Mir, who we definitely would say is done, wouldn't you agree? I don't think Frank Mir needs to fight anymore. And Mark Hunt, the jury's still out on whether he's going to stick around, but losing to Mark Hunt, that's just another bad sign that you probably don't want to keep fighting.
No, but, I mean, when it comes to Silva, he's had a legendary career.
That's why he should retire before he tarnishes it.
What, sticking around for one more fight and being knocked out, landing face first in the mat?
Yeah, I don't think you need to keep taking that kind of damage, especially like you said, after you've had a legendary career, especially when you can scramble your brains getting knocked out over and over again. And let's be absolutely clear about this. In those 4 fights we were talking about, he's been knocked out 3 times, and he's won by knockout 1 time. So he's getting knocked around quite a bit.
Speaking of Frank Mir, do we have any idea if the B sample came back yet?
No, we have not heard that yet.
Because I remember he said if the B sample's dirty, I'll retire.
Well, we'll just wait, but I think he's probably going to end up retiring.
Alright, let's move on to Gunnar Nelson and Albert Tumanov.
Albert Tumanov is minus 175. Gunnar Nelson is plus 155, so it's a pretty close fight, but I get the feeling you're going to favor Gunnar Nelson in this one.
Absolutely. I would actually put some money on Gunnar.
How much would you put on him?
$20.
All right. Well, he is 14-2-1, and his only losses are Damian Maia and Rick Story. So you might even go a little higher than that. I could see you going 50 or 100.
Well, I mean, I'd put some of my Angry Marks salary on that.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. But it's hard to go against Tumanov, though. You know, it's a close line and all, but Tumanov has reeled off 5 straight quality wins here. You know, Lorenz Larkin being the highlight, even though that was a split decision. The guy has been on a roll, you know, and he's called Einstein for a reason. This is an intellectual fighter. This is a guy who will get in there and play the chess game with you.
Well, it's a fight I'm really looking forward to, but another fight I'm looking forward to is Anna Elmos and Germaine de Randamie.
Yes, indeed. Although this is one of the bigger lines. If you're looking for an upset, Elmos is plus 300 and de Randamie is minus 360, which, in my opinion, since honestly, I feel like Elmos is just coming in this card to get wiped up by de Randamie, that's the right call.
Yeah. Yeah, you couldn't have said it better yourself. I mean, I totally agree with you on that one. Francimar Barroso against Nikita Krylov.
Okay, let's see the line on this one. I was just looking at something about Elmos, but I'll switch back. Krylov minus 155, Barroso plus 135. So Krylov is a very narrow favorite. And as for Elmos, she's 3-0, but that's all fighting people we've never heard of.
Mm-hmm. What about Heather Jo Clark and Carolina Kelowitz?
I'm going to try this one for you. I believe it's Karolina Kowalkic.
Okay.
And she is the minus 250. Heather Jo Clark is plus 210. I tend to agree with that. Heather Jo Clark is a tough girl. She fights hard. She's a former member of the Ultimate Fighter, so she should be a known quantity at this point. And she does have one really big win on her record, and that's a decision over Rowdy Beck Rawlings. So
that's a big name.
Right, but Kowalkic, she's a killer. She's 8-0. Her last fight, she beat Randa Marcos. One-sided, dominating fight. I think we haven't even seen the best that she has to offer yet. She's the only fight where she even looked like she was challenged was Invicta FC 9 when she fought Mizuki Inoue, and that was a split decision, but I think in every other fight I've seen her in, she's looked pretty well dominant.
You think this is going to be the war? I was going to say this could be like the fight of the night. These two fighters are going to bring the war to the Netherlands. I'm like, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense.
No. But I get what you were trying to say.
On the prelims, Neil Series on the Fight Pass prelims against Koji Horiguchi.
And he's a heavy favorite here.
No kidding.
Minus 500 for Horiguchi.
Really?
Yep, plus 400 to Siri.
Huh.
Bigger than
I would have thought it'd be a little higher than that.
Yeah. Now,
all right. As far as the Fox Sports,
one fight on here that's in flux right now. Nick Hine has pulled out of his fight with John Tuck.
Injury or sickness or
injury.
Okay. That's one of the Fox Sports 1 prelims. If you don't have Fight Pass, the prelim card for Fox Sports 1 starts at noon Eastern. If you have Fight Pass, the prelims for you starts at 10:30, and the prelim main event on Fox Sports 1 is Rustem Kabalov against Chris Wade.
And I just closed the odds, so I don't have them for that fight. Sorry.
Well,
I'm just going to go ahead and say Kabalov is the favorite. I doubt I'm wrong about that.
Oh yeah, no, I agree with you on that one for sure. So, as far as this show overall, do you think we're going to see a quick return to the Netherlands based on this card? Or is this a card just for the sake of having a card?
I imagine they're going to keep coming back when they've got guys on their roster like Alistair Overeem who will have regional popularity. I think they'll be coming back pretty often. I can't see any reason not to.
I like it when they do these shows overseas. It's kind of refreshing to have a Sunday show once in a while. I mean, I like it when they expand the horizons. We always say that oversaturation is a bad thing, but oversaturation, but you're hitting different markets, I think that's a good thing.